Very good evening, one and all. This is Madhu Parvatneni. I'm the instructor for your webinar. Welcome you all to the webinar on MongoDB. So it takes around 1.5 hours in explaining the concepts of MongoDB, the basic syntaxes of MongoDB. And also I will be using Python programming for scripting MongoDB with server and all. Initially, I'll talk about what are the MongoDB commands that are required to do CRUD operations. And later we'll be using Python scripts in order to do CRUD operations again on using the programming language. So in this webinar, we will be using MongoDB community server for doing hands-on. This webinar is totally related with hands-on because I'll be talking less and doing more. We'll be using some tools in order to do hands-on. One tool is MongoDB community server. I'll show you how to install this MongoDB community server from mongodb.com. If you want to do hands-on along with me, then you should have this MongoDB server installed on your laptop. MongoDB community server. You can download this MongoDB community server from mongodb.com. This is the official community website of MongoDB. And then we'll be using Python 3 for scripting the program which communicates with MongoDB server and all. So Python 3 is also open source, right? Python 3 is open source and MongoDB server is also open source. So both are open source. So initially, let's talk about what is SQL and what is the difference between SQL and NoSQL, and then slowly we'll start talking about what is MongoDB database. So generally, when you talk about a data and a database, data is nothing but a piece of information which can be a string, or which can be a number, or which can be a floating point value, which can be a float, or which can be a bit value, or which can be a byte value. Data is nothing but a piece of information, and to store this piece of information, which is data, we need a server, we need a database. A database is nothing but a place where all your data will be stored so that you can access this data from any program. So generally, these days people use programming languages like a server scripting languages like PHP or Python or sometimes Perl or sometimes Ruby on Rails. People use, or sometimes people use Java. There are Java applets and all, and there are server scripting languages which communicates with the database server for doing CRUD operations and all. A data is nothing but a piece of information which can be of string data type, or an integer data type, or a float data type, or a bit data type, or a byte data type here. So when database is concerned, there will be two types of schemas available on it. What do you mean by schema here? Schema is nothing but a structure associated with a database to store data. So here, when you talk about schema is nothing but a structure. So there will be two types of structure. One is called static schema, and second one is called dynamic schema. Static schema, in the sense, it's like a C programming language, because most of you are from computers background here. So when you look at C programming language, when you say int a semicolon, which means that the memory allocated by the compiler will be of integer data type. It cannot allocate memory as of float data type, as of string data type, as of character data type here. So when you mention int a semicolon, it means that the memory will be allocated as of integer data type. When you say float a semicolon, which means that the memory will be allocated of float data type here. So the memory allocation is all based on the data type that you mention here. Which indirectly means that this is the static memory allocation, and this is the static memory allocation. But when you look at a programming language like Python, when you say a, the data type of a is always based on the value assignment. When you assign a true value to a, it means that this becomes an integer variable. When you put a equal to hello, this becomes a string variable, which indirectly means that the data type of the variable is always based on the value assignment. So here the memory allocation is all based on the value assignment, and this is like in Python, and this is like in C. In C follows a static schema always for memory allocation, whereas in Python follows always dynamic schema. So the memory allocation in Python is like is allocating memory dynamically during runtime. But when you look at C, the memory allocation is always based on the data type which is mentioned while declaration. But in Python, when you look at Python, the memory allocation is always based on the value assigned to it. When you write some variable called b in Python, memory allocation cannot be specified here until unless you store a value. When you store a value, then immediately memory will be allocated. So that is why in Python you'll have runtime memory allocation. Only. But when you look at C, you'll have both compile time memory allocation, which is static memory allocation, and also you'll be having runtime memory allocation, which is dynamic in C. But in Python, you'll have only dynamic, which is completely dynamic schema. So that is why here also in SQL and NoSQL, SQL is it always follows static schema. NoSQL will always follows dynamic schema. Static schema in the sense the data type of data has to be mentioned prior. But when you look at dynamic schema, no need to mention any data type. No need to mention any data type for data to be stored. So one follows a static schema, one follows a dynamic schema. Static schema in the sense the data type of the data has to be mentioned when you are creating a table. If you are aware of MySQL in engineering subjects, I will have a subject on MySQL. When you look at MySQL here, while creating a table, you should mention the data type of columns there. Without mentioning the data type of columns, you cannot create a table there, and that is called static, which is fixed schema. But when you look at NoSQL, for creating a table, there is no need to mention the data type of the entries. There is no need to mention the data type of entries because the memory allocation is always dynamic, which allocates memory according to the value that you keep pushing to the table. But in MySQL, always you should mention the data type while creating a table. But in NoSQL, there is no structure. There is no fixed schema here. You can store any kind of data anywhere in NoSQL. And the popular database and the popular and most reliable is MongoDB. So in many places across the globe, that is why these days, people are using mobile applications and web applications more, right? And majority of the real-time applications are built based on MeanStack. Hope you're aware of MeanStack. MeanStack stands for MongoDB, Express JS frameworks, Angular JS frameworks, and Node.js frameworks. So this is the MeanStack, right? So by using this framework, people are designing a lot of mobile applications and web applications, right? So, and MongoDB is a widely used, popular database, reliable database, wherein you can use any programming language to get communicated with MongoDB, because MongoDB is a dynamic database, and it is faster, than a normal MySQL database server. So here MongoDB is a NoSQL database. It doesn't follow any structure. MongoDB is a NoSQL database and doesn't follow any structure. That is what is called as, it follows dynamic schema, doesn't follow any structure. And memory allocation is automatic. Query reading is faster and quicker, and reliable with popular frameworks. You can use MeanStack, or you can use Python, or you can use Ruby, or you can use Perl. It is very reliable with various popular frameworks across the globe. So that is why in majority of applications, people use this community server, MongoDB server. So in depth, when you talk about MongoDB is a document-driven database server. MongoDB is a document-driven. Document. What is document? Document is nothing but an entry, or you can say a data element. Okay, or you can say simple data element. Document should be always enclosed in flower bracket open and close, and document should hold will hold only key value pairs, something like dictionary in Python. If you are aware of Python, and this is a format of dictionary, right? It is like dictionary in Python. So dictionary in Python will be having flower bracket open and close, and it will be having key value pairs. So in the similar way, in MongoDB document should be always holding flower bracket open and close. Document is nothing but a piece of data element which is going to be stored in MongoDB server. So this MongoDB. So I'll compare MySQL and MongoDB. So in MySQL, you will have database, and in MongoDB also you'll be calling it as database only. In MySQL, you'll be having a table, and here it is called as table is nothing but a group of data elements, right? So it is called as collection. 3, here it is called as data, and here it is called as document, or in specific you can call it as row also, right? If a row is inserted, it means that a data has been entered into MySQL here, so you can call it as document in MongoDB. So the terminologies will be matching out here, and So document is nothing but a row in MySQL. Collection is nothing but a group of documents, which is nothing but table. Group of documents is called collection. So here let's jump into MongoDB. So as of now, what I'll do is, so today in this webinar, in a short webinar, because we're having only 1 hour of time. So I'll show you how to create a database in MongoDB server. I'll show you how to create a collection. We cannot call it a table in MongoDB because MongoDB is a document driven database. How to create a collection, how to insert data into the collection, how to read data from the collection, how to update the data and the collection, how to remove the data from the collection, and I'll show you how to delete a collection and database. So all these 6-7 steps I'll show it through manually and also through programmatically. Thereby you can use this concepts in your projects and all. So if you want to build any application these days, majority of applications are having database. Without database we cannot build any kind of application, right? Isn't it? So today database are very popular because internet is cheap and majority of data is being collected and it is in use. So databases are very popular. So let's jump into the topic. Let's jump into the 7 questions. Okay, how to create a database and all. So before that, let me show you how to install a MongoDB server. So how to install MongoDB server. So to do this, we need to open www.mongodb.com. And here you'll have a lot of versions, but community server is open source. For developers and students, you'll have community server, which is free, which is open source. You'll have a good community support also for community server. So let's go to this website, mongodb.com. mongodb.com. So mongodb.com is the official website of MongoDB server. So this is the website of MongoDB server. If you open this website, you can able to see this page. So here you'll have an option called software. In software, you'll have different types of softwares of MongoDB, out of which one software is called community server. So you need to click on community server, which is a free and open document database. So as I said, MongoDB is a document driven database. So you need to click on community server. And you need to select on MongoDB community server here. When you select MongoDB community server, you'll get the version of the MongoDB server. So 4.2.5 is a current release, and remaining are in test phases, development releases there. But you can go for current release. And you need to select your operating system. It supports a lot of operating systems here. If your operating system is Windows, you can select Windows, or based on your operating system, you can select the OS here. And then the package, sometimes developers will use zip, and beginners will use MSI, Microsoft Software Installation Package. And you can click on download. So when you click on download, this particular .exe file, the setup file of MongoDB server will get downloaded. It will be of 263 MB. 263 MB file will be downloaded when you click on download button. So, and after downloading, you can install the MongoDB server. So when you install MongoDB server, in program files you can able to see. In program files, in local disk C, in program files, you can able to see a MongoDB. You can able to see MongoDB. So this MongoDB folder you can able to see only when MongoDB is installed on your laptop or Windows machine. This will be in Windows C program files. MongoDB server will work only in 64-bit operating systems. MongoDB server will not work in 32-bit operating system. That is most important. It works only on 64-bit machines, but these days you're getting only 64-bit machines, right? So, but if you're using an older laptop, try to update to 64-bit and then you can jump into this MongoDB server and all. MongoDB server will install only in 64-bit operating systems. That is what you have to understand. And this is MongoDB. Yeah, this is a MongoDB folder. You can able to see it only when you install it. And I'm opening this MongoDB folder. In MongoDB folder, you can able to see a folder called server. I'm just opening server folder. And then 4.2. This is a version which we have installed on our laptop. I'm just opening 4.2. Then you can able to see 3 different folders like bin, data, log, and all. So in bin, and this is a binary folder. In bin, you can able to see MongoD and Mongo. 2 different applications will be there. There are applications like MongoD and Mongo. MongoD is a server application. Mongo is a client application. When the MongoDB server is getting installed on your laptop or on your desktop machine, the MongoD server will be running in the backend. No need to run the MongoD server because it runs automatically when you install your MongoDB server. So you'll have MongoD and also Mongo. Mongo is called client. MongoD is called server, because in sometimes you can able to see here MongoDB database server. So this is Mongo client, which is MongoDB shell. This is Mongo client. This is MongoDB shell, and this is MongoDB database server. So this is a server application, and this is a client application. Client application in the sense it is nothing but MongoDB shell. Then what we have to do is we have to double click on this Mongo. We have to double click on this. When you double click on this, you can able to see this MongoDB shell, which is Mongo client. You can able to see simple greater than symbol here. You can able to see simple greater than symbol. So this is the MongoDB shell, where you can give some MongoDB commands to check how it operates and all. And then you can write a Python program to communicate with MongoDB server. So let's practice every MongoDB command on this shell, and then slowly we'll jump into Python program. So as we are having 45 minutes, we can do all these steps here. So here the first MongoDB command in this webinar, I'll show you some important commands only, okay, as the time is limited. And the first command is show space databases semicolon. Every MongoDB command should end with semicolon. Every MongoDB command should end with semicolon, show space databases. So which means that what are the databases existed in the server? What are the databases existed in the server? So it is showing 3 different databases called admin, config, and local. So these are the databases which are existed in the server. These are not our databases which are created. We have not created any database yet, right? So these are the predefined databases available in the database server. Now we have to create a database. How to create a database? To create a database, there is a command called use. To create a database, there is a command called use space database name. So if we want to create a database, say for example, say webinar, if this is your database name, then you should end with semicolon, use space webinar, enter. Then immediately a database object will be created called DB, switch it to DB webinar, which means that a database is created. A database is created. Switch it to DB webinar. So this is a second MongoDB command which I wanted to use in this webinar. First MongoDB command is show space databases, which shows the databases details there. Use space webinar, which means that a new database will be created. If there is no database with this name, new database will be created. If there is any database with this name, then that database will be opened, which is something like, creating a file by using Python. Okay, if there is no file with that name, new file will be created. If there is an existing file, then existing file will be opened. In the similar way, use space webinar. So there is no database with name webinar, so a new database will be created. If you want to store data, we have to create a collection. So to create a collection, so let us write a command: db dot create collection, db dot create collection of, say, Madhu. So db dot create collection of Madhu, which means that a collection will be created with this name. Now collection has been created. So db dot create collection of Madhu, then a collection is created with this name. That is why it is showing OK colon 1, which means that collection is created with name Madhu. And you can use a command called show space collections. So when you enter show space collection, then you can able to see the collection which is created there. So now a collection is created with name Madhu. By using a command called show space collections, you can display what are the collections available. By using a command called db.create collection, you can create a new collection in the database. Now collection has been created. Now we can store data. Let's insert our data. If you want to insert our data, and the syntax is db database object dot collection name. Our collection name is Madhu. Now that is a collection which is created here. Dot insert. Insert is nothing but a command to insert your data into this collection. Insert of. So always your data should be in the document format only. That is the most important. The document format is nothing but flower bracket open and close. So the data should be in between this flower bracket open and close. And the most important point while inserting documents is that every document in MongoDB server is having a unique primary key. And that primary key is nothing but underscore ID. Underscore ID as a unique primary key that is existed in every document. So this primary key should be unique always. Say I have given underscore ID colon 1. Underscore ID colon 1, which is nothing but a document ID with 1, comma. So let's write some message. Hi. So let's insert this data into the collection. So which means that I have inserted a document with an ID 1 and with a key value pair. What is the key value pair here? Message colon hi, which means that a key is message and value is hi. So it is displaying a right result as inserted 1. So one document has been inserted into the collection. So let's insert 2-3 documents here. db.adu.insert of underscore ID. Now you need to enter a different unique ID. So as we have entered ID 1 in the previous document, we have to change our primary key value. If the primary key is not changed, you'll get a error saying that boss, this ID is already existed. So let's write a new message, or the same message you can write. And then a new document has been inserted. A new document has been inserted. So let's insert once again one more document. So 3. Now again one more document has been inserted. So let's see how to read the data from the database server. And we have inserted these 3 documents into the collection. Collection is nothing but a group of documents here. Now 3 documents have been inserted. So let's check. Let's read the data from the collection, and the command is db.madhu.find. So find is an important command here, which reads the data from the database server, which is particular, it is collection. db.madhu.find, which is nothing but finding, is nothing but reading the data from the Madhu collection here. This is the collection name which we have passed. So it is now able to see, you can see the result here, underscore id underscore id. In every document there is underscore id. Okay, and your underscore id is unique. So let's insert the data without primary key, without primary key. So let's insert only message. Say Madhu, let's insert only a message. I'm inserting only message. Enter. Now the data is inserted, but I have not inserted any primary key, right? So if primary key is not there in the query in the document, then the server will automatically keeps a primary key. So let's read the data. You can able to see the result. Now a new primary key has been assigned for message Madhu here. You can able to see underscore id colon object id of some random key has been generated here. So this is an encrypted random key which is generated. Though we have not given underscore id in the document in the query, it has inserted. The server will be inserting a unique object if you are not inserting it through a query document. So this will be done automatically, which means that every document in the collection will be having a primary key, and the primary key should be unique. So let us insert a duplicated document, say db.madhu.insert of, let's keep underscore id colon 1, say message hi. If you try to insert, it is showing an error. What is that error? Duplicate key error, which means that underscore id colon 1 is already there in the collection. That is why it is showing an error. Otherwise the document can be inserted there. So it allows only duplicated. So it allows only unique documents which has a unique primary key. If there is any duplicate, you will get error. So db.madhu.find. So db.madhu.find is nothing but a command which shows what are the documents available in the database. So next, so let's update the data. Let's update the data. db.madhu.update of. So let's update the data. Let's update the document which is having id 1. Okay. So let's update the data which is having a document id 1. Update. So you need to write which document you want to update, say underscore id colon 1. So this document has to be updated with what? Comma, flower bracket open and close. So this is the targeted data which has to be updated there. So there is a command called $set colon. So $set is nothing but setting a new value. $set colon is nothing but setting a new value. Say, what is the value here? Message colon. So instead of hi, let's write bye. So this is the updated value here. So the first in the first flower bracket, you should write what is the, which document you want to update. In the second flower bracket, you should write, $set colon. So you need to use a command called $set. So this $set will update a key called message with a new value here. And then there is a new value called bye. So when you hit enter, then so number of matched is 1. So the one document has been matched with this ID and it has been modified colon 1. So if you call db.madhu.find, then you can able to see a updated value called bye instead of hi. In the previous, before this query, there is a message called hi. There is a message called hi for id colon 1, but now it has been changed to bye. So this is how you need to update your documents. So if you want to update your documents, in the first flower bracket, you should pass which document you want to update. Second, you need to pass with $set colon what is the value that you want to update. When you pass something like this, then and that document will be updated. So this is db.collectionname.update. So update is a command which updates the values. Now let us remove the document. Let us understand how to delete a document. So db.madhu.remove of, say if you want to remove an object, a document which is having a primary key 1, so then you have to call this db.madhu collection name.remove of underscore id colon 1, which means that this respective document will be removed from the data from the collection. Now when you call db.madhu.find, you can able to see only a document which is not, one document has been removed, id one document is removed here, and you can able to see the remaining result. And this is how you need to insert your data, and this is how you need to find your data, and then read, and then you can update your document something like this, and you can remove the document something by using this dot remove. So it's all English vocabulary, right? If you want to remove, dot remove. If you want to find, dot find. So if you want to find only one document, if you want to find only one particular document, say, then find underscore id colon 2. If you want to read only one particular document, then you can use this syntax. Then when you call this syntax, then immediately the document which is having underscore id colon 2 only will be retrieved. If no argument is passed to find, then all the documents will be retrieved there. If only one, if you want to retrieve only one particular document, then you need to pass it as an argument, db.collectionname.find. Okay, so let's jump into limit. db.madhu.find of limit of 1. If you call this, only one particular document will be retrieved from the collection. When you write limit of 2, so limit is nothing but, it is putting a limit for reading the documents from the collection. When you put dot limit of 2, then it is displaying only the 2 documents from the collection. So limit is again a sub command here, which is like a sub method for find, in order to putting a limit for reading the documents. Next, let's talk about sorting. How to sort the documents inside the collection. db.madhu.find dot sort of. I need to sort documents here by using underscore id comma 1. When you put 1, all the documents will be sorted. All your documents will be sorted. If you put -1, they'll be sorted in a ascending and descending manner. Okay, one will be descending, one will be ascending here. You can sort it by using colon 1 and colon -1. So all these documents are sorted by using the first argument, which is underscore id. When you put 1, this will be the sorting order, and when you put -1, this will be the sorting order. So smaller to bigger and bigger to smaller. So this will be the ascending order and descending order. By using a dot sort method, you can sort all the documents inside the collection. So these are the different functions calls available in MongoDB server, which are like MongoDB commands to do CRUD operations in the collection. So limit is nothing but putting limit for reading documents. Say db.madhu.find. When you enter this command directly, all the documents will be read. So here the collection is having only 3 documents, right? So if the collection is having thousands of documents, when you write db.madhu.find, that thousands of documents will be retrieved. So if you want to, if you want to read only 10 documents, then you can put db.madhu.find of, you need to put a limit there, dot limit of, say you want to read only one particular document, only one document from the collection, then you can put limit of 1, only one document will be read. Okay, so when you write db.madhu.find with a limit 2, then 2 documents will be read. So when you write db.madhu.find, then all the documents will be read. So here it is putting a limit to read only one particular document. Or you can add a limit even for sorting also. Say dot sort of. Say if you want to read only the recent value or something like that, colon 1 dot limit of 1. So it reads only one particular document. So it has sorted. So db.madhu.find is all about reading all the documents, but all the documents will be sorted, and that sorted list, from that sorted list only one particular the first document, which is nothing but the top document, will be read out here. So that is why you can able to see underscore id colon 2. The same command, let's keep with -1. If you do with -1, you can able to see only the top element, which is nothing but object id of some random array which is being there. So you can put limit for reading for reading only one set of documents. Okay, that is passed as an argument here. So these are the different types of MongoDB commands. So we are inserting only one document, right? Isn't it? At one point of time, we are inserting only one document. If we want to insert, if we want to insert more number of documents, then all the documents should be in a list format. So in Python, you are aware of list, right? You will be having square bracket open and close and putting all your documents inside. Then you can insert as many documents you want. I'll demonstrate it by using Python scripts and all. So let's jump into Python because it's already 7:05. Let's jump into a Python program. So let's exit from MongoDB shell. Let's jump into Python. So this is normal command prompt, which is not MongoDB shell. This is a normal command prompt. So here what we have to do is, if you want to access MongoDB server, we need to install some Python package, which is nothing but pip install pymongo. So this is the package which you have to install so that you can access MongoDB server. Pymongo is nothing but Mongo client of Python. We have to hit enter. When you hit enter, then pymongo will be downloaded and will be installed. Will be downloaded and will be installed in your Python so that you can able to access MongoDB server. So now pymongo is there. It has installed on my laptop and Python. So let us write program cd space desktop. So let's create a folder mkdir webinar MongoDB. Cd space webinar hyphen MongoDB. And let us write program here, notepad space some, say demo.py. So notepad, I'm using notepad editor for writing program. So demo.py is an extension here. Enter. So I'll get yes, no, I'll click on yes. So here I have to write program. So program, coming to Python program. As we have installed pymongo, so let's use that pymongo. From space pymongo space import space mongo client. So from pymongo, I'm importing mongo client. So import space time. So time is a predefined library and pymongo is a user defined library. It is not predefined, but we have installed by using pip install. So let us create, now what we have to do is we have to create a client object. So client equal to Mongo client of, so MongoDB server is running on my local host. So let local host, and MongoDB server will always runs on a port number called 27017. So this is the fixed port number of MongoDB server. So client equal to Mongo client of local host. Local host is nothing but that my MongoDB server is running on my machine. If your MongoDB server is running on cloud, so you need to mention the IP address of the cloud. But always MongoDB server will be always running on a port number 27017. So after creating a client object, we need to select the database. So here DB, say a database object equal to client of, say webinar. So this is a database which we have created earlier. DB equal to client of webinar. If there is no existed database, a new database will be created. That is what I said, right? We have selected the database, and then we have to select the collection. So here DB equal collection, so C equal to DB of, and there is a collection called Madhu, right? So equal DB of selecting the collection, and then let's insert multiple documents. So if someone is asked how to insert multiple documents, so a k equal to some variable k equal to square bracket underscore id colon, say 121 comma, or you can write 100 comma, say message colon, say hi, or bracket comma. So one more document here, underscore id colon 101 comma message colon hello. Say there are two documents here. Like this you can have 10-15 documents also, or you can have a dynamic document also by asking the user to enter which data you want to enter and all. So inserting multiple documents, k equal to square bracket open. I took two documents here, which is a collection, which is list of documents. So let's insert this data. How to insert data? Inserting data. So C dot insert underscore many of k. C dot insert underscore many of k, which is nothing but, this set of documents will be inserted into the collection, and that collection is accessed through C. So let's read the data. Let's read the data. Reading data. So to read the data, we need to take some return variable, say m equal to c dot find. M equal to c dot find. But here when it is returning, you'll get lot of documents, right? And that has to be iterated. So it have to take iterative loop to read each and every document. So that is why you have to write for I in m colon print of I. So you know how to use for loop in Python, right? So simple for I in m print of I. So if you write this logic, every document will be it will be printed on the output shell when you call this Python program. So it's simple. We have to import the client package, which is Mongo client. Time is not necessary. If you want to put some time delay, you can write time. So creating a client object, client equal to Mongo client of the IP address, which is nothing but localhost, because it is running on my machine only. 27017 is a fixed port number. And then I have selected the database. If no database is existed with this name, a new database will be created. And then a collection, selecting the collection. If you want to create collection, there is a method called dot create collection here. And inserting multiple documents, k equal to square bracket, and inserting data, insert underscore many of k. Reading data, m equal to c dot find, and for I in m colon print of I, so that every document will be iterative. So it keeps printing all the documents by using a simple for loop. So let me run this program. Control S. So Python space main.py. Oh, sorry, demo.py. Yeah. Python space main.py. Oh shit, it's demo.py. Python space demo.py. Then you can able to see the data. You can able to see the data which is printing as message colon hi underscore id colon 100 and message colon hello underscore id colon 101. So that is the data which we have inserted through this program. which is k equal to square bracket open underscore id colon 100 message colon hi underscore id colon 101 message colon hello. So by using a simple program, we can easily communicate with the database server by using a simple function calls which are like insert underscore many. If you want to insert only one document, then you should call insert underscore one. Okay, insert underscore one will insert only one document. So c dot insert underscore one, you can insert only one document. You can insert only one document by using insert underscore one. By using insert underscore many, you can insert a lot of documents here. So this is a program, Python script. So by using this Python script, you can able to communicate with the database server. So we have created a database by using a command called use. We have created a collection by using dot create collection. We have inserted data by using dot insert method. We have read data by using dot find method. We have updated data by using dot update, but dot update will be holding two arguments, two elements there. One is which document you want to update and what you want to update. And removing data is nothing but dot remove method. So you need to pass the primary key value. So when you pass primary key, the respective data will be removed. How to delete collection, drop collection. When you say dot drop, then a collection will be deleted. When you say drop database, then database will be deleted from your MongoDB server. That I'll show you before I wind up. So these are the 7 important syntaxes that you wanted to show in this webinar. So first command is to showing databases. Then the command is show space databases semicolon, which shows the databases existed in the server. Next, creating a database. Creating a database is nothing but use space database name. Then a database will be created. So for example, say use space Madhu, then this respective database will be created, and then creating, so displaying, showing collections. What are the collections available in the database, which is nothing but show space collections. So when you write this command, no, it will display what are the collections available in the database. Next, creating a collection. To create a collection, so the syntax will be db dot create collection of one particular name, say webinar. So this name will be with this name a collection will be created, and then inserting data. To insert data, db dot collection name, db dot collection name as webinar dot collection name dot insert of underscore id. A primary key should be there for the document. Say a primary key is s1, comma, and the message. What are the data that you want to upload? You can put it here. Say name colon, say Surya, something like that. You can insert the document. Next, to read the document, reading data, db dot collection name dot find. So this respective command will read out all the documents from the database, and then updating data. If you want to update data, db dot webinar dot update. Webinar is a collection name here. So which document you want to update, that you need to pass in first flower bracket underscore id colon 1. So this is the document id which I wanted to update. Second, in the second flower bracket, you should write what is the value that you want to update by using $set. Sorry. $set colon, then a new value. Say you want to update, say, Surya with Abhinav, then you should write something like this. Then by using this syntax, you can update the document. Next, limiting the records. Limiting the records. So limiting the documents. How to put a limit? So to put a limit, db.webinar.find.limit of one particular number. So if you want to limit only one document, then you should put 1 here. Then only one document will be read out. And you put limit of 10 documents will be read out. And sorting the documents. db.webinar.find.sort of. So when you're sorting the documents, so you should understand by which parameter you want to, by which field you want to sort. So underscore id, say generally underscore id, or you can put any other parameter in the document. Underscore id colon 1. If you put in 1, so ascending order. When you put 1, so your documents will be sorted in ascending order. 10. If you want to put in descending order, then db.webinar.find.sort of underscore id colon -1. Then your documents will be sorted in descending order. Or if you want to put a limit for this sorting, db.webinar.find.sort. So if you want to read only one particular one top document from the sorted list, then you have to put dot limit of 1. Then only one particular document will be read from the sorted list. So when you put db.webinar.find sort of underscore id, this is a field that you by using this parameter, this will be sorted. Underscore id, say if you want to sort in descending order, if you want to put a limit of 1, then the top element will be read out there. And then 10, removing documents. If you want to remove documents, db.webinar.remove of which document you want to remove. Say that id you need to pass here, which is nothing but underscore id colon 1. Say then this particular document will be removed from the collection, and thereby you can see the updated list there. 11th, removing reading only one document by using its id, say by using primary key. Then db.collection name.find of which document you want to read. That primary key you can pass it here, then the respective document will be read out. 12, removing collection, db.webinar.drop. Then this collection will be removed from the database. 13, removing database. To remove the database, db.drop database, drop database. Then this command will delete the database from the MongoDB server. So these are the MongoDB commands. These are the MongoDB commands where you can use for doing basic CRUD operations. Okay, you can practice it by using this MongoDB commands on the MongoDB server by using Mongo shell. You'll understand how the CRUD operations are going to happen there. Say find and sort mechanisms are reading the data. There is a possibility when you're reading the data, there is a possibility of getting multiple documents, maybe millions of documents, maybe hundreds of documents, maybe thousands of documents. So that is why a limit comes into picture. Limit comes into picture if you want to read only limited number of documents. If you wanted to read only limited number of documents, then people use limit. But for insert, I don't think you need to use limit method, because you cannot use limit method there, because insert will never return, because insert is like insert is inserting the data. It is not returning anything else, inserting the data, and it is just returning the result. It is just returning the result, whether data is inserted or not, whether the data is inserted or not. So this insert is not returning multiple documents there. It is just returning a statement which is the result, whether data is inserted or not. So for insert, I don't think you have to put limit, but limit is important when it is reading multiple, when it is returning multiple number of documents. So here dot find is returning multiple number of documents based on the argument you pass, of course. Okay, dot find is returning multiple number of documents, then only that is why people use limiting the document which is returning from there. But for update, it is not returning multiple number of documents, right? It is just returning a result. Dot insert is also returning a result, so that is why there is no need of putting limit and all. Okay, someone is asking, please show us how to insert multiple number of documents through MongoDB shell. So I'll try to insert. So use webinar, show collections. Okay, db.madhu.collection, madhu.insert of square bracket underscore id colon say 234 comma high, sorry, message colon high comma very close comma underscore id colon 324 comma okay. Hello. So this is a bulk insert. So someone has asked me how to insert multiple number of documents. Simple. I wanted to show you, which is db dot collection name dot insert of square bracket open and the set of dictionaries. Set of documents. Then you'll get bulk write result. Bulk write result I inserted as 2. So when you put square bracket open and close, then immediately the documents will be inserted, which is nothing but list of documents here. So when you write square bracket, it is nothing but list, right, in Python, for you to understand. So it is just list of documents. You need to pass for insert method, thereby all the documents will be inserted into the MongoDB collection. So that's all for today. Thank you. Okay, this is the tinyurl.com/matblocksky. So by using this URL, you can join in the WhatsApp group. Right, thank you all.